go ahead and get us started. My name is Alex Gradwell. I'm with the Maritime Washington National Heritage Area. Thank you all for joining our NHA Best Practices call. Today we're going to be focusing on merchandise, and we have three great presenters to share with us today. Just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. This is our last best practices call for 2024. The next one in December would have been in that Twilight Zone holiday week when no one is actually working. So we decided to cancel it. But we will be getting started again in 2024. If you haven't gotten the meeting invite for that yet or the dates, shoot me a message in the chat and I'll make sure to forward that to you. Okay. With that being said, we're really excited to have with us today three presenters. We're going to have Tim from Schuylkill River, Caroline from Mountains to Sound Greenway, and Brittany from I&M Canal. We will have time at the end for Q&A. I think we'll be presenting for about 30 minutes and then Q&A for 30. So as we're going through, feel free to drop your questions in the chat or jot it down because we'll have plenty of time after all three of our presenters have gone to go through those. So with no further delay, I'm going to pass things off to Tim Fenchel, the Deputy Director of Schuylkill River.
Thanks, Alex. Can you all hear me? All right, great. So I did throw together a very quick and not very great PowerPoint to share with you all, but thanks, Alex, for inviting SRG to share on this topic today. Happy to tell you all what we have done and sort of where we're at with our merchandise program. I've got maybe a half dozen slides here for you. So anyway, how we got started is we've probably had a sort of an online store and merchandise for maybe 15, 18 years at this point now. And it started pretty organically, quite honestly, with stuff that probably all of our heritage areas have, books and videos and DVDs and music. We had sort of a collection of things that have been completed over the years project-wise, lots of history and heritage, some outdoors and environmental books. We had a group that came and did like an ethnic heritage study on music in one of our local counties that got put onto a CD. And so that was sort of the very, very beginnings of our merchandise. We sold really, really basic things like that for a long time. And then let me make it a little bigger for you. Can you guys see that? Mm-hmm. So, and then, we just slowly started adding things. We added, a coffee mug and a winter beanie, really, really simple, cost-effective, cheap things. The real big change for us happened when we rebranded in 2017. We did an entire rebranding and marketing plan for the heritage area that went along with our management action plan that got redone with a new 10-year management action plan. So when we did that, the board of directors decided to take a little bit of a chunk of money. I don't think it was a lot, maybe $7,000 or $10,000, something like that, out of our annual budget. And we invested in a whole bunch of things as a part of our rebranding, everything from pens and stickers to T-shirts and fleeces and hats and stuff like that. So when that happened, it sort of really kicked off where our merchandising is at this point. It's a little bit more substantive, but still nothing really that crazy. But that rebranding and that one-time sort of budget boost really is what did it for us. So basically, what we have now, we offer just really basic stuff. We have T-shirts, we have quarter zips. We occasionally have like a fleece or a jacket. We've got drinkware, hats. We have dry bags. A lot of the paddling programs that we do, we have dry bags for people to either purchase or sometimes we can give them away. We actually have an award-winning water trail map for the Schuylkill River Water Trail. And then, as I said, books, videos, music CDs, pens and stickers, which are just freebies. But honestly, if you walked into our office, you'd probably be very underwhelmed by our merchandise. It's like a couple bookcases right by our front desk where we display things. And then we do have an online store. At the same time, we did our 2017 strategic plan and our rebranding. We also redid our website. So that allowed us to create an online store piece, which we had not had before. So the online store does help with those things. And we use PayPal, pretty straightforward PayPal account to connect to that. And we have some things that I can show you before I close, sort of some of what our online store looks like. So, as I said, it's really not that advanced. It's really not that robust, but those are the kind of things that we have. You can see here, we have a t-shirt and our quarter zip. We have some drinkware. We have a silly pint, and every couple of years we get a different water bottle that usually gets used for like education programs and kids and stuff like that. And then we have a couple of hats that we offer. So, other than that one really big investment in 2017, I would say our annual budget for merchandise is around $2,000. For 2024, we're actually knocking it back a bit to about $1,000 just to make some savings in our annual budget. But it's really, like I said, it's not a very big budget at all. And the way we typically do how we manage that $2,000 is we sort of rotate items every other year. So we bought t-shirts, I think, last year, and we still have a fair amount of t-shirts left over for this year. So for 2024, we probably won't buy t-shirts, but we're getting low on hats. So maybe we'll use, $500 to buy hats and $500 to do other things. So it's not like we're repurchasing all of our items every single year. We sort of do it on a rotating basis based on what's been popular, what's sold, what we're running out of. And we honestly there's not really much of an intent to make a lot of money on this. This is not a real big revenue generator. Part of that is because Elaine and I give away t-shirts like we're throwing them into a crowd at a baseball game. when we go to partner events, or we go to, we have people come into the office or visit, we end up giving a lot of this stuff away. So we sort of go into it knowing we're not going to make a whole lot of money on it, but we do sell things, and that does help sort of keep that line item in our budget at about break even every year. One of the things that helps us is we also then buy things for specific events that's out of a separate budget. So, we have our annual Sojourn, which is a 7-day kayaking event. We have an annual bike ride, a 1-day bike ride. We usually get t-shirts for those things. And people purchase t-shirts through those events. And then usually there's, 20, 25 t-shirts left over. And throughout the year, we'll sell them for $5 and, who knows, make a couple extra $100 selling this year's t-shirt, last year's t-shirt, older models. People who didn't ride one year might want to come and get the t-shirt that they missed. So, having some swag from events also sort of kicks into the bottom line and trying to just sort of keep the whole thing going. So just some quick lessons learned. Finding the balance between quality and cost, I think, is important. Of course, everybody would like to have a nice Patagonia logoed National Heritage Area fleece, but that's just not realistic, really, when you're dealing with nonprofit budgets. So, but you also don't want to buy sort of the cheap stuff that's out of the catalog. So we try to find something that's sort of a little bit more in the middle that people will want and they will wear. And something that's cost effective. One of the things we found is very popular, probably all of you have one, is a t-shirt that's made out of the tri-blend material. Instead of getting like a cheap 50-50 t-shirt that doesn't sell, we have found that this tri-blend material is really, really popular. It's sort of like an organic cotton kind of feel to it. And it's really, they go very, very fast. People really like that product. So you try to find the products that people will like and people will use. We also have just sort of stuck with a small handful of products that we know people like and they want, instead of trying to get too diverse and having too many things to offer. We typically just stick to 3 or 4 or 5 items. And then, like I said, we sort of rotate them in and out for which ones we're buying each year. we've talked about the idea of opening like a temporary store with specialty items. There are some places that you can go online and you can work with like a vendor, and people can go to that site and create like their own items that they want to put your logo on them. So it wouldn't be stuff that we would have to pay for and bring in-house and then ship to people. We haven't really gone forward with that model just because I think we don't think there'd be enough of a demand from our constituents to really sort of make that work. But that is another possibility. I know we have a partner that does that. They have their logos already loaded up with this vendor, and you can go and you can pick from a catalog anything you want, and then just have it directly shipped to yourself. So that is an option. We haven't done that yet, but that is an option. So, I mean, that's sort of the real quick down and dirty of our merchandise setup. I will quickly here. This is our online store on our website. Pretty easily accessible, and we just have item by item listed here, and you can go in and view the product, and then get details, what it is. We're currently struggling with website pictures loading correctly on our store. I'm not sure why, but yeah, we have a store, and this seems to work pretty well for different things. We have a Junior Ranger activity booklet that's actually free, but people can call and they can order it, and we'll ship it to them. So that's pretty much it. It's really not rocket science. We do it pretty simple and straightforward here, quite honestly. And at the end of the presentation, I'm happy to answer any questions. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what others have to share, because we could learn a lot from other folks as well. We have Kim Mooney on our staff. Kim, I don't know if you want to add anything that I missed. Kim is the one who sort of runs the front end of all this. So maybe if you have anything you want to add, feel free to, Kim.
Hi, everyone. Tim pretty much hit most of the bulk of the things, but as he said, I'm kind of the front line. I'm the one that receives the orders, gets them shipped out, and all that fun stuff. So our platform we use is WordPress, if anyone's interested in that. So we use WordPress, and within WordPress, there's this thing called Woo e-commerce, and that's where all the sales are made and processed through PayPal. And then once a order is processed, I'll get an email confirmation sent directly to me with all the information, things that they bought, where to ship it to, and then I just send it on out. Pretty straightforward. Does anyone have any questions about that? Back end things?
Yeah, do you all have to charge sales tax, or do you charge sales tax for items?
No, since we're 501c3, we don't charge any sales tax. We do charge shipping, but that again can all be done in the back end, and you can select like a specific shipping charge, or you can adjust it for each item. We just do one flat rate.
The other thing that we do that's probably worth mentioning is, sometimes we'll take some of our merchandise items to an event. And so we have a Apple Square. We have a couple Apple Squares that we use. And we've sort of, plug them into an iPhone or, an Android, and we can just swipe cards, and it's all set. The Square program is set up with all of our items right there. It works really, really easy. We even have simple things like used t-shirts for $5. We just keep track of all that stuff. So that has worked very well on sometimes we take things on the road.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thanks, Tim and Kim. That's fun to say. If folks have more questions, please jot them down. We'll definitely come back at the end. Just want to make sure we have time for all of our presenters today. So next up, we have Caroline Villanova, the NHA Coordination Manager, joined, I see, by Katie Egressy, their Communications Manager from Mountain to Sound Greenway. So 2 for 1 today. I will let you guys take it away.
Hi, everybody. Caroline here. Katie is pulling up our presentation. We actually have John sitting next to us, but he prefers to be off camera. So good to see you all. So we got a little presentation. There's a lot of similarities with what Tim shared. in like what we sell and things, but I think this will offer a different perspective on how we like what we use to sell our merchandise. So here's our little presentation. Here's a photo of some of our staff decked out in Mountains to Sound Greenway gear, and gives you a little sense of the different graphics that are available through our product site. And just a little bit of an intro. So Caroline Villanova, I've met some of you all at the conferences, but I'm here with Katie, and many of you have given me so many kudos for our website and our swag and all the rest, but it's really Katie you should be thanking. So I'm excited to have you all meet Katie and hopefully meet her in person one day soon.
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you all. I'm the communications manager for the Greenway, and I haven't met too many of you, so happy to be here. All right, so we're here to talk about how we use the platform called Bonfire to sell our merchandise. So the idea actually first came around different than Tim. We've only been doing this since 2020. And I joked to Caroline when I saw that date that I think this was one of those early pandemic ideas of, you know, we're not having events anymore. We're not out in the public as much. People are doing more online shopping. Oh, this would be a way that we could connect with our audience in those early days of the pandemic. So we decided to try out this platform. We knew that it was really geared towards nonprofits, and we've been pretty happy with it. So excited to share more about it. So one benefit of Bonfire is that you don't have to purchase or store any inventory. So you don't have to guess sizes. You know, you run out of all your mediums and then you've got 50 larges left or whatever. We had dealt with that a lot in the past. So it's kind of nice that it's all printed on demand through the website. We don't have to do any of that. We don't have to handle shipping. That was another thing, especially with the pandemic. We went home for, 2 years and we're in the office very much. So that was a question of like, how are we going to get these shirts to the people who want them? And Bonfire takes care of all the shipping. It's a way to have our brand presence out in the world. It doesn't cost us anything at all. So that's pretty cool that we can get people out there wearing Greenway gear. And we tend to have a lot of board members and different people who just really love our logo and like want our stuff. And so this was a way for us to give that to them, give them more variety, more options. And it's pretty easy for us. And then the added benefit is fundraising. So we don't necessarily view this as like a moneymaker or a fundraiser, but we actually, without trying too hard, since April 2020, have raised, this is about a week old, so probably over $5,000 at this point in pure profits. And we can also collect donations through Bonfire. So a lot of people will make a purchase, pay for their gear, and then add a donation on top of it. So it's just a nice little added moneymaker for us. So, there's got to be a catch. So the catch really is just that there's a processing fee because they are doing all the shipping and all of that. So we are a nonprofit organization. So we get this nice discount and only have to have a 3.5% processing fee. If you're not a nonprofit, then it would be an 8% processing fee. But I will say that saving our staff from having to do the shipping and all of that, it feels worth it to us to have that kind of seamless process. They handle all the printing and shipping, as I've said. There's no minimums, which is nice. So, if one person wants one certain design or color, they can order it and it's shipped to them right away. We don't have to worry about reaching a certain threshold. And on the flip side, if we do sell a lot of one item, we get more profit. So we do a little bit of a blend between more targeted campaigns, such as for an event or something where maybe we only offer one design and one color and we do a big push all at once. We can raise more money per item that way versus the trickle, one sale here, one sale there. So it's pretty flexible in that way. And so, like I said, you can do just a single campaign or you can set up an online store, which is what I'll show on the next slide. And the thing that's kind of nice about the online store is similar to Tim's. It's just up there all the time. We have it linked on our website so people can browse all of our different designs, different styles, colors, all the time, whether we're promoting that campaign or not. So when you want to set up a new campaign, this is just a little screenshot of what that looks like. So They have different items you can choose from, which if I go back here shows you the different items they have. I'll touch on this in the pros and cons section later. But so you pick what items you want, you pick what colors, you upload your artwork. You can either create your own design, which is mostly what we've done, is creating our own designs in-house, or you can use their service. They actually just offered us a free design service, I think to get us to launch another campaign because it had been a while. And that generally went pretty well, but you can also pay to have them do a design for you. So if you have an idea, but you just aren't able to bring it to life yourself, it's kind of nice they have that. You set your own prices. So when you pick your items, of course, they all have different base costs and you can see that. So you know what you're paying baseline for that shirt. And then if you're really trying to run it as a fundraiser, you might, push your prices a little bit higher to get more profit margin per item. Or if you want to make things as affordable as possible for your audience, kind of knowing, what they're looking for, then you can keep those prices really close to just break even. So flexible in that. And then selling as a batch or on demand is what I touched on earlier about selling as a batch means that you collect a whole bunch of orders and then fulfill that batch all at once, which leads to higher profit margins versus on demand where one person wants it, it's printed, it's shipped. One person wants it, it's printed, it's shipped. So you can choose that based on your campaign.
And here's a little bit of just a snapshot of what we sell. So we have t-shirts, tank tops, mugs, baby onesies, sweatshirts, tote bags, and we kind of just have an internal team that on staff who kind of have ideas of like, hey, we think this would be a good thing to sell, and then work with Katie on seeing if Bonfire has that as an option, and we get start that campaign. So that's what we've done so far. And the way that we get the word out is often, so for one, we have it embedded on our website. So we have a page where you can shop for Greenway gear, and then that links you right to what we saw earlier, which was the Bonfire merchandise page. So that's evergreen on our website. And then we also kind of do targeted promotion. We mentioned around events. So we'll do kind of an e-newsletter that goes out around National Public Lands Day and some of our bigger volunteer events or bigger recreation events to get people aware ahead of time in case they want to come to the event wearing that t-shirt or with that swag, or maybe they're inspired after the event. So we have that targeted email push. And then we also will do it on Instagram. We have a pretty wide or growing Instagram presence. And then we use QR codes at events for people to scan the QR code and maybe buy the t-shirt right there. We often get a lot of, since staff are wearing the t-shirts almost at every event, we get a lot of people asking like, hey, where do I get one of those shirts? Or where do I get that hat? And it's been really convenient to just say like, you can purchase, you can get it for purchase right now through this link if they would want that. So those are some of the ways we get the word out.
Yeah, and one other thing about events is we do occasionally take physical shirts with us to events because sometimes people just want one to take home, or like their kid's really excited and wants one. So you can do a bulk order at a discounted rate from Bonfire, or we've also gone the route of just ordering the design from some other retailer that we work with. So we do kind of a hybrid, but I would say 80 to 90% of our sales go directly through Bonfire. Just that way we don't have to carry the shirts to the events and do all that. So here's the pros and cons. So like I said, we've been using this since 2020. The pros are that it's really easy to use. It's easy to set up. Their website works well. It looks nice. The products have been good. The feedback has been good. I've bought things myself and been happy with them. Their customer service is fantastic. You can talk to a real person. They will fix things for you. Like we realized we had a small typo on one of our shirts and they got right in there and fixed it. So definitely 10 stars for their customer service. You can set your own prices and collect additional donations, as I said. One thing we just started in the last few months is using discount codes. So we've used this for our staff. So if your staff are really into swag like ours are, then they don't want to pay the markup because why should they have to? They're fundraising for their own organization. So we were able to create a discount code so that staff can buy things as close to the actual cost as possible. So I think people were pretty excited about that. And then you can do a discount code, like if you're at an event or something and you want to spur some people to buy that shirt, 10% off if you buy it this week or something like that. And then, yeah, it's really professional looking. It allows you to use photos, videos, some text to like tell your story, whether that's for your organization as a whole or a specific campaign, like what it's funding or something like that. And we don't have to, worry like if the website crashes or anything like that. Like they have, they're a very professional organization. So the cons are that the items are pretty limited. So if you saw when I flipped back to that slide earlier, it's really mostly apparel. So it's like shirts, sweatshirts, tank tops, and then there's a few different things like mugs and tote bags, but there really isn't a whole lot of variety. And so that's been one frustration we've had. They do roll out new items occasionally, like they just launched zip up hoodies, and one of our team members is like super excited about that, but you're kind of stuck with just what they have. Whereas if you're doing your own merchandise, you can get whatever you could dream up. So sometimes they have supply issues. I will say this has seemingly become less of an issue as we've gotten, further out of the pandemic. But sometimes they'll only have a certain color in some certain sizes. So we've never received a complaint or anything about that, but that is just something to know that you, again, are kind of at their mercy in terms of supply. This is something just from a design perspective. The artwork has to be the same color no matter what shirt you put it on. So say you wanted to offer a shirt that's the same design in a black shirt and a white shirt, that's not going to work because you need to have light colored design for a dark shirt. And I think you get what I'm saying. So you do have to be a little bit strategic about your artwork and your color choices and everything. And then you're unable to physically feel the products. So you're picking things out online. They have like 20 different styles of t-shirts. And so I'm just like, oh, that one looks soft. And, I haven't actually touched them and felt them. So, but I did just recently ask them if I could get samples of something. And they were like, oh, yeah, for sure. And they're sending us different samples and colors. So I maybe just have been shy about asking. And if you do go this route or use Bonfire, I would say feel empowered to ask for samples. So I just wanted to add this because one of my cons is how limited the options are in terms of what you can sell on Bonfire. I have heard of this other platform, and I don't know if anyone on this call uses it. I would love to hear Threadless Artist Shop, which has a much, much broader range of products that you can do, including non-apparel options. But their processing fee for us as a nonprofit is 1.5% higher. I have not reached out to them to see if they would match Bonfire's rate. But so that's one thing to know. And then I'm also just not sure how their retail prices compare to Bonfire because I haven't gotten in there and actually checked it out. But we have toyed with the idea of switching, but we have generally been happy with Bonfire, which is partially why we have not made the switch. But yeah, know that Threadless is another option if you are looking into potentially setting up a platform such as this. So that's all we have. This is our contact information. If we run out of time and people want to send us questions or more detailed questions, but yeah, we're happy to answer any questions at the end as well.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I might be ordering that more trees, please, t-shirt for some folks for Christmas. Awesome. Okay, well, we will have time for questions at the end. I see some folks putting them in the chat, which is great. We'll make sure we have time for those. Next up, we have Brittany Eccles with who does marketing and events for I&M Canal. Brittany, I will let you take it away.
Why, thank you. Hello, everyone. It is my first time here, and because I'm so intimidated by all of you, I will be reading from a script. I hope that's okay. And I do have, my presentation is more about all of the different kinds of items that we sell, because we have just an insane spectrum of merchandise. I just got here at the end of 2020, but the visitor center has been around since 2008. So there are staples that have been with the visitor center since the beginning, things that I've brought in. So mine is more focusing on all the different types of things that you can sell. So I will share my screen here. All right, so a little introduction here. Like I said, the visitor center opened in 2008. It was originally opened to support our I&M Canal boat tours. The idea was to offer a small selection of food to guests who were waiting for the boat, along with a few souvenirs that could be purchased to help them remember their trip, such as the standard fare, t-shirts, mugs, and keychains. By 2011, they had transformed the space into a full cafe and gift shop that was popular not only with tourists, but with locals as well. Over the years, we have developed an online store in addition to our physical location, and we have expanded our souvenir section, which we lovingly call the I&M Canal Signature Collection, to include a wider variety of items, and some of which I have here. Postcards have been an insane investment that we are so happy that we took the leap. We didn't have postcards for a long time. We didn't think it was worth it, but you would not believe how many people would get angry that they couldn't get a postcard with the boat and the mule on it. So finally we said, all right, let's just do it. We'll start with like 1,000 of each and see how it goes. And we are constantly having to reorder these, and locals will buy them and send them to friends and family who don't even live in the area. People who are coming for the boat ride will buy all of them because they feel like they have to collect them all. It's just a fun little thing that everybody seems to enjoy. We have patches, lapel pins, keychains, standard stuff there. This year, since it was our 175th anniversary of the I&M Canal, we came up with a commemorative ornament, which you see in the left-hand corner there. And the response to that has been amazing. People who had never even been in the visitor center, local people, heard that we had this, and they were showing up going, I can't believe that canal's been here 175 years. So they've been buying that like crazy. We also have, of course, mugs, t-shirts, some ideas that we've had for gift shop merch. The ideas have actually come from guests who came in looking for something that we didn't have. Like, did you know that an insane amount of people collect shot glasses? I didn't know that until so many people came in looking for it and were so disappointed that they couldn't get one. So we made one, and it's always a delight when I hear from across the shop someone going, oh, honey, they have a shot glass, come here. And it warms my heart, truly. We also, since we're by the I&M Canal bike trail, we've had cyclists come in and say, why aren't you selling water bottles that I can put in my bike? So we've done that. We have all sorts of bike merch. Parents have come in asking for first aid kits, which we weren't selling at the time. So because so many kids were getting scraped up on the trail, we decided to invest in some I&M Canal first aid kits that go over really well, especially for parents of young children, because it's small enough to fit in most bags that you're carrying. We also have a robust book section featuring books of all kinds, but the thing that has really taken off for us has been the field guides. And we work with a company called Adventure Keen. Highly recommend them to anybody who's looking to provide this kind of information to visitors, because they tailor the books for you based on your region, your state, things that are going on around you. So we have all sorts of Illinois books. We have Midwest ones. If you're near a national park, they'll have books that you can get to coincide with the national park. We love these guys. And these are great with kids, families, people who don't get out in nature very much and feel like they need a mushroom guide of the upper Midwest because they don't want to die. It's been great having that to offer to everyone. We have also established a great relationship with several local authors in our National Heritage area, which opens up a host of collaborative possibilities, such as book signings, presentations by the authors, and book clubs with the author, all of which are great ways to get the community into the visitor center and to spark interest in what we do. Now, as I mentioned, we are also a hotspot for locals, partly due to the cafe, but also because we are located in historic downtown LaSalle, which is a popular shopping destination. So we have an abundance of greeting cards, which are our most popular thing that we sell, is the greeting cards. When we reopened after the pandemic, we had a line of people outside to come and stock up on cards because they were tired of going to Walgreens and Target and paying $5 for a card. We also have a variety of home decor items, and Republic of Tea, which was the tea that we used in the cafe. People loved it so much that we just started buying every kind of tea that they had. So we have a whole tea section in the gift shop that is also very popular. And finally, because the majority of our guests are families with small children, we have a really fun kids section that focuses on things that are road trip and travel friendly, things that pack really well, things that won't make a mess in the car. But we also have a great selection of vintage toys because our building was built in 1912 and most of the things inside of it look like they're from 1912. So to kind of go with that theme, we have like the log building set is one of our most popular things, but you can really have a lot of fun with this. It's really all depends on your situation, what you see as far as the people who are interested, people who are coming in. You can have so much fun with this. And finally, the most recent addition to the gift shop has been our vinyl stickers, which we introduced this year. And the response to this has been phenomenal. We work with a company called Stickers Northwest. You can either send them your own artwork, like your logo, which we have done. You can also choose from a variety of designs that they will let you add your own custom text to. And the last time I flipped through one of their catalogs, they had 56 pages of designs. So don't worry about finding something that fits with you and your area or things that you're interested in. They have so much stuff and they are willing to work with you with whatever you need. I can't recommend them enough. Last year, for 2022, we brought in almost $44,000 in gift shop revenue. 2023 has been a transition year for us because we have decided to get out of the cafe game. So we no longer have the cafe. We're working on reorganizing our gift shop, but as of January 1st of this year, we've brought in $37,000 in gift shop revenue. We use Square as the point of sale for both our physical location in the visitor center and for our online store, which makes it really easy because that means your inventory gets updated and is accurate across all platforms. Because I've worked in places where the point of sale they had in the store did not sync up with their online store. So if you sold anything in the actual store, you had to physically go in and adjust the inventory. Otherwise, people would still be trying to buy something that you sold out of 2 days ago. So having it sync up across both platforms, it's a godsend. I think that's about it. Really the only con, like Tim said, is balancing quality and cost, because we've had so many ideas over the years of things that we wanted to do, like a 500-piece jigsaw puzzle with a map of our whole National Heritage area, that once you factor in the setup fee and shipping and the processing fees, once you add that all up, it was going to be like a $50 puzzle. And I cannot justify selling a $50 puzzle of a map to a family. So that's really the one downside, is you really have to do your research, try to find the most cost-effective way to go so that it's still fair for your guests, but you also have a product that you can be proud of. And that's it for me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you so much to all of our presenters. It's interesting that we had 3 presenters who all kind of approach merchandise, like where you're selling, how you're fulfilling in different ways. We'll open things up for questions, but to start, I'll read a few that folks have already put into the chat. So we have one question. Do you guys hire a designer to create special graphics for your materials? Anyone can feel free to take that one.
We do not, because I design all of the things. So
you do it all in-house?
Yep, I do it all.
Wow. Nice.
That's why I'm so excited to present these things to you, because secretly I'm like, I did that. Look, I made that.
Yeah, I can say same. Everything except for 2 designs I've done myself. we used their designer for one thing because they offered it to us for free. And then one thing, we were having a designer create a poster. And so we made that into a shirt design for an event. But yeah, we have not, I've toyed with having like a contest or different things like that, but just have never executed that.
We're a little bit of both, some in-house and some hired designers.
Awesome. Well, here's a question from me. Some of you guys touched on this, but what is your most popular item and what is your most profitable item?
What was it, popular, and what was the second one, Alex?
Profitable.
Oh, profitable.
I would say our most popular item is our water trail guide. It's definitely not the most profitable one, but it's definitely the most popular, and probably our hats as well.
I'm just looking at our back end. I don't have a quick answer for that.
I am also looking at our back end.
Ours is organized by design, not by product. So our Get Out in Greenway, it's sort of like mountains. That's been our most popular design. But yeah, I don't have a quick answer for in terms of which product.
As far as what things we sell the most of for us, definitely the cards. And that baffles me completely every time. I look at the sheet and I go, well, come on, there's got to be the ornament's got to be number one. Nope, cards every time.
People just love those postcards.
Yes, but the books, we do have one book that I didn't feature. It was made especially for us by an illustrator who was interested in the canal, and he wrote a book it's fictional, and it follows a family who works on a boat that goes through the I&M Canal. And I'd say that's probably our most profitable item that we have. So I don't know how to tell you to get someone to custom make a book for you, but if you can do it, I'd say that's a great way to go.
Good advice for all NHAs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question in the chat. How do you ensure your items meet cultural relevance and accessibility standards?
We were just talking about that one. One thing that came to mind was on the accessibility standards, just making sure you're able to, and I don't know if I'm answering this question right. So Alyssa, if you want to elaborate, please do. Just having high contrast visuals so you can see everything well. And then, like I said, we kind of have an internal team that's reviewing what products we make. So it's not just Katie who's making these decisions. So that's kind of helpful in what we put out.
Yeah, for me, so I have a background in boutiques and salons. Like those are the people that I've done merchandising for in the past. So this is totally a different ball game. But one thing that I do love is keeping up with what other stores are doing. You know, if you're not sure what you want to have in your gift shop, go look at someone else's gift shop. When we were trying to decide if we wanted to go the sticker route, I went on the national park websites. I went on Starved Rock's website. I looked at all these other places that are kind of trying to do the same thing that we're doing, but are on a much larger scale. And I said, okay, they've got water bottles and tote bags, and they have all these different lapel pins and patches, and people are coming in asking for them. So if you just pick someone who's doing the thing you want to do well and follow them, I would say.
Next question. If you use a Bonfire or Shopify model, are there any NPS requirements around reporting program income if you are not using HPP funds? little more technical on this one.
We haven't run into that issue. We do not use MPS funds for our merchandising part of our budget. We use other unrestricted income, mostly probably from our membership funds that come in. So yeah, we have not run into that issue as of yet.
I would second that on the Greenway side of things.
Okay. Well, okay, Katie and Caroline, this one I think is for you guys specifically. Do you limit the colors on Bonfire, or do you choose the colors on Bonfire that your logo can be used on?
Yeah, so we are the ones creating the design. So it's not like someone can pick something that we didn't provide. So we get to make sure that we are happy with the color combinations and things like that. I will say we do not limit to only our brand colors on Bonfire. You know, we don't only do our blue and our green, and we would probably even be able to get an exact match on that. So as long as we're not, you know, going totally crazy with like a multicolored logo on a multicolored shirt or something like that, we've definitely allowed for some creative freedom there.
Great. I think that was all the questions in the chat. Anybody else want to just shout out any questions you may have? Well, I have one more for Tim and Brittany. Well, Tim and Kim and Brittany. How much staff time would you guys say that you spend fulfilling those online orders if you're shipping them yourselves?
Kim better answer that one.
It doesn't take you don't get too many orders in. Like I said, the most that we get is our water trail guide. I sent 2 out this morning and it took me a few minutes. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah, I would agree that it's not, especially since I'm the one doing it, I know where everything is. The only pain I would say is finding something to ship bigger things in. Like we save boxes anytime we get a package, we save the box because we have so much stuff and it all varies in size. Like we just had someone order 2 shirts, a water bottle, and then a bunch of patches. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can play Tetris with this box and stuff everything in there. That's really the biggest hurdle that I have, is trying to find the right thing to ship it in.
Finding correct shipping boxes takes an insane amount of time.
Yes. And then if you try to put a lapel pin in an envelope and send it through the post office, they're not going to take it. So don't try.
Hot tip. Okay, it looks like we have another question in the chat. Has anyone ever successfully partnered with Eastern National or Western National for items? Although we don't know if they sell to non-NPS organizations. We can probably open this up to everyone on the call if anyone has partnered with them.
I don't know to what extent you're wondering about, but the only thing we've done, I think, with Eastern National, you know, we have 3 Park Service sites within our heritage area. 2 of them stock some of our books that have been produced either from us or from a partner. And so we've worked with Eastern National to get those into their stores. That's as far as we've gone with Eastern National.
So
we sell the National Park Passport books, but if you're talking about getting some of the cool merch that they sell exclusively through them, I have tried and they will not send it to me. They have a really cool National Park Geek pin that I wanted, and I emailed them and said, that is the coolest thing. We want to sell it. Let me know how to do it. And they said, unfortunately, we do not sell our stuff in any other outside retailer. So I have tried because they have a lot of cool stuff, but they'll let you sell the passports.
Yeah, I was
If
just
anyone
gonna
is
add that. You
interested,
can
oh,
do,
sorry, go ahead.
it's okay, Alex. You can sell like the passport stamp and like the kiosk thing, anything like related to the passport program, and they'll let, because we've done that with our communities, like in different stores with like if we have a passport stamp, they'll let you sell that. But Eastern National runs the stores in the park, so they're not selling to the park service, they're actually just selling to themselves. I don't know about Western National, but I mean that's definitely how the stores run in like that we like at Lincoln Home. Like Eastern National runs the store in the park, not the park running the store. So
I will add, if anyone's interested in passports, check out the recording from last month's NHA best practices call. Looks like we've got one more question in the chat as well. Has anyone run into issues of program income and merch?
Is that similar to the previous question? Maybe the one.
I'm not sure. Aline, I'm not, sorry, apologies. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. Aline, would you mind clarifying on that?
I'd be happy to. I am following up on that previous question to say that apart from reporting from this online platform, has anyone had a broader set of problems surrounding offering merchandise and collecting data for program income, whether it's federal funds? I'm hearing you that you're using additional funding sources, but in offering the expanded merchandise system, have you come across um, any hiccups with that?
Yeah, the same answer before, as I mentioned before. We have not run into that issue, although I will say this past fall, going through our work plan approval, our Park Service folks in the Northeast were a little tighter on program income than they have been before. So it's potentially a possibility that will come up in the future, but we haven't had that issue so far.
Any other questions for our presenters today? Okay, well, thank you once again, Tim, Kim, Katie, Caroline, and Brittany. We really, really appreciate you guys sharing with us. Hopefully now everyone's going to go online and buy your guys' merch to give to people for the holidays. So just one more reminder that we will not be having an NHA best practices call in December, but we will reconvene in the new year starting on January 25th, same time, same place. Please, again, feel free to reach out to me if you need that meeting invite. Thanks, everyone.
I did think of one more thing for like 5 seconds. Okay. So for those of you who are debating, should I go for it? What should I get? My former boss, who ran a very successful salon, told me if it's something you would buy, it's something other people will buy. So trust your gut, go for it, have fun, because it really is the best part of my day. So good luck to all of you, and thank you for letting me come on and talk with you today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany. Great note to end on there.
Thanks
everyone.